Hey, Mama. Happy New Year. I am so excited about today's episode because I am talking about the changes here at Mama Turned Mompreneur. Now, if you listen to the last few episodes, then you've heard about my newest offer, which is Life in Seasons coaching. And I really wanted to do an official episode sharing more about this one-on-one coaching offer, but really how I came to this decision about expanding my offerings to include one-on-one coaching, as well as to share about the changes here on the podcast and just with my business in general, because 2024 is going to look a lot different for me, and I'm super excited. So I can't wait to share all of this with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Hey, Mama. Are you tired of feeling stressed and overwhelmed trying to grow your online business with your babies at home? You desire more flexibility in your day, allowing you to pour into your family, yourself, and your business without running yourself into the ground. Mama, you can build your dream business and do it in a way that fits your current season of life. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Welcome to the Mama Turned Mompreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Singletary, daughter of the king, wife, mama of two, and life and business coach for mompreneurs. On this podcast, you will learn business strategies made for mamas just like you, who desire to be successful CEOs and fully present mamas without stress or overwhelm. So whether you're an entrepreneur who transitioned to a mompreneur or a mama turned mompreneur, I am here to support you. So grab your coffee, notebook, and pen, put in those earbuds, and let's dig in. Okay, y'all, before I get into today's topic, I just want to say, I absolutely love my new intro and outro music and just the new intro in general. This is I know it's totally off topic, but I knew that for this, semi-rebrand in a sense, I wanted my music to be different. If you have been with the podcast since day one, you know that I have changed my intro. Well, not changed it twice, only changed it once. So I had the original one when I launched and then I changed it again. And the music I chose both of those times were kind of more of a little bit slower, more of an R&B vibe. And so I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to have music that was going to make people want to get up out of their seat and dance. And the reason why is because we're not going to be stressing over here. No stress, no overwhelm. We are going to have fun. And it's so funny because when I was searching for the music, I literally typed in, I use Audio Jungle to find music for my podcast. And so I literally typed in music that will make you want to dance. And this was one of the first songs that came up. So I thought that was pretty funny. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys because I love my new intro. It is such a vibe. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun and I love it. But anyways, let's get into today's topic. So I wanted to start with some of the changes with the podcast. So if you looked at my podcast cover art, I didn't update the image or anything, but I did change the tagline. So it says, start and grow a business with your babies at home. And the reason why I changed it, because whether you are, using a podcast to grow your business, or you're really looking to build a business that fits your current season of life, it all falls within the same theme of what I'm all about. I'm all about simplifying. I'm all about really building a business and doing it in a way that meets you and your family's needs. And so that's why I changed the tagline, because it's really about starting and growing these businesses at home, but with our babies here, because that's what I've been doing. That's what my clients are doing. That's how I support my clients. Again, whether that's through podcasting or coaching, we are really, building these successful businesses with our children at home, and not just our children, but our little ones. My clients and myself, our kids are in the 0 to 5 years age range, with the exception of a couple of podcast production clients. But overall, I serve women who have really young children at home. And so really figuring out like, how do I make this work and still be the present mama I want to be, still take care of myself, still be present for my partner, all of these things. And so that's what this brand is all about, Mama Turned Mompreneur. And so I really am excited about this to be able to like fully embrace it and talk about this in different aspects and not just in the podcasting sense and how podcasting can simplify your content creation as a mompreneur, but really just overall, like how we can really simplify and streamline and set our businesses up in a way that works for us. That doesn't feel like, we're pouring so much into our businesses and then giving our children and families what's left over, or vice versa, and then not having anything left to pour into ourselves. So that is kind of like the focus. That's what we're going to be doing over here for 2024. And so that's like one of the changes. So you may have also noticed that this new episode came out on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. And yes, the podcast is now 2 solo episodes are going to drop each week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then every other week, you will have a guest expert sharing about something related to running a business as a mom or tips and strategies for running your business as a mom. And those episodes will drop every other Friday. And I did this like after the, last year of podcasting. And I've made like throughout last year a lot of different changes when it comes to like when I published episodes and different things like that. And so really like kind of looking at what was working as far as like the days that my episodes dropped and different things like that, I decided to make this change. But also too, just taking into consideration my podcast production side of things, the clients that I support and when their episodes drop, I wanted to do something to just simplify things for me. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, you will get solo episodes from me. And then every other Friday, you will hear from a guest expert here on the podcast. Yeah, that is kind of like it for the changes with the podcast. Now, when it comes to my actual business, I want to stress that this is an expansion, not a pivot. A lot of people, as I've begun to like talk about the coaching and everything, I've been kind of getting questions or kind of comments like, oh, I love this pivot for you. And so I want to stress that it is not a pivot. I still have the podcast production side of things. I am still supporting clients with managing their podcast, growing their podcast, and different things. I also have a couple of clients that I am working with to launch their podcast. But I've also added in my Get It Done week. So launching your podcast in 7 days. And it's a Get It Done week. It's kind of like an intensive, but I'm right there with you. And I literally give you everything you need to successfully launch your podcast and launch it confidently. And this is something I'm offering quarterly. And I decided to do this because I have a lot of women in my community who want to launch a podcast, but they're not at that point in their businesses where they can invest in done for you podcast launches and doing it in a way where it's like, this is going to be the right way. They're going to have the strategy behind it and everything. And so to kind of support these women, I decided that I wanted to start doing the Get It Done weeks. And we have the first one coming up. If this is something you're interested in, there is still time to sign up and join for this one that's going to be for Q1. The link is down below in the episode description. But it's just a really great way where you get my one-on-one support, like you get my feedback and everything, but I'm not doing it for you. I am walking through it with you. You get podcast cover art templates that were created by my amazing graphic designer, but also just video tutorials that walk you through step by step what to do and how to successfully and confidently launch your podcast. But also you're getting that strategy piece. Because a lot of times that is what is missing, like especially when you invest in a podcast, like launch your podcast course, you don't always get that strategy piece. You get the how to, but it's like, okay, but how do I actually use this as part of my business? What should I actually be talking about on my podcast? So you're going to get that support and get my direct feedback on your intro, your outro, your launch episodes. all of that. So I'm super excited about that. So that's just to say, like, I'm still your girl for podcasting. So that is not going anywhere. But I have added in the coaching, right? And so to talk about that a little bit, I kind of want to share like how I came to this decision to do coaching and the actual focus of the type of coaching I'm going to be doing. So it kind of like, I kind of stumbled into, I don't want to say stumbled into coaching. Like I had been coaching my clients without actually knowing I was coaching my clients. So it kind of started with my client, Naomi. She was a guest on the podcast. I believe it was episode 109. You can check the show notes. It'll be there. But we were talking one day and, she had launched her new coaching program and stuff. And she had told me, she was like, "You're the first coach I've ever worked with." And I was like, "Say what now? Like, I've never called myself a coach. Like, I'm just managing your podcast." But it caused me to stop and really reflect because I thought about it. I didn't just manage her podcast. I coached her on how to effectively use her podcast as part of her lead generation, as part of her marketing strategy. I would listen to an episode and I would give feedback and say, "Hey, for the next episode, I want you to try this, and this is why." So, like, I went above and beyond someone who manages your podcast. Like, I coached her. And so it started with her, and that kind of like got my mind going, but I still was not willing to call myself a coach. And then in May of 2023, I launched my Podcasting for Your Business group program. And although I had started, calling myself a podcast coach, I wasn't really owning it. I was still hesitant to really give myself the label coach. But working with these women for 6 months, so we started in May and we wrapped up like the first week of December. And again, we did not just focus on podcasting. We went into all aspects of their business, but more so, how do I do this as a mom with little ones at home? How can I record my podcast episodes when my kids are being loud in the background and I don't really get that quiet time I need to record my podcast episodes? How am I supposed to get these emails written when my child is teething, they're waking up constantly throughout the night, they're going through a leap, they're cluster feeding, like all these different things. Like that was like, how do I integrate motherhood and entrepreneurship? How do I make this work for me and where I'm at in my current season of life? And so it was just something that kept coming up, and I couldn't ignore it. Like, it's like, all of these like lights, like this neon sign, like, "Hello, look at me. You need to do something here." Like, and it's like, I felt this pull, I felt this urge, I felt this like leading, and I know it was God. Like, you need to support your clients with this. Like, this is what the women in your community need from you because you're doing it. And like, one thing I would hear so often from my clients is like, "Andrea, how are you doing it? Like, you make it look so easy." And I promise you guys, it is not easy. And I don't ever want you guys to think that like it is easy for me, because it's not. But it's like, I've found a way to do it and it works for me and my family. I've found a way to do it so I'm not feeling that stress, that overwhelm, mom guilt, all of the things. Like, I found a way to make this work and actually enjoy it and love what I'm doing, but also still being able to be the present mom I want to be, still be able to pour into myself and take care of myself like I need to and everything. And so I realized like that's what I want to do. And so really being able to have these opportunities to coach these women, like they were asking me for it, I loved it. It lit me up. Like, although it wasn't technically part of what that group coaching experience was supposed to be about, it was one of my favorite parts of working with these ladies and really helping them simplify things in their business and really find a way to integrate motherhood and entrepreneurship and doing it in a way that fits their current season of life. And so I really, again, like just going through all of this, I took time to really reflect over, my past year plus of like being in business, because I celebrated 2 years in business October 2023. And so I just really took time to kind of reflect on my journey and everything. And like I remember like early 2023, January 2023, I like I was like, I went into it like, I'm going to just show up everywhere. Like, I was on LinkedIn, I was on Facebook, I was on Instagram, I was doing the podcast, I was trying to blog, I was trying to do Pinterest. I was like doing all of these things. And you want to know what that got me? It got me nowhere but to burnout city. I was so burnt out. I was literally probably like 3 or 4 months in, like, I think like around March, April, I was to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go get a 9 to 5 because I can't do this. Like, this is exhausting. It doesn't make sense. I'm not yielding any results. I'm not making any progress in my business. And so instead of giving up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull back. I'm going to let go. Like, I had let go of blogging. I probably made it barely a month blogging, but I let go of that. I let go of LinkedIn. I let go of Pinterest. I had took a major step back from Instagram. And I was like, I can't keep going in circles. Like, I need to get help. And so that's when I started working with Kay Hillman. And I learned through working with her that business does not have to be hard as a mom. We get to make it what we want it to be. It's really about finding what works for you. And that's where I really discovered this whole concept of building a business that fits your current season of life. What makes sense for you right now with everything you have going on in your life, with the ages of your kids, with whether or not you have family support, with, if your husband works long hours, really just thinking about those things that you don't necessarily have control of, like they are what they are. And so that's what I did. I took a step back and like, okay, what makes sense for me in this season of life? And so I was like, well, trying to show up on every platform does not make sense for me. So what does? And so I really leaned into podcasting and leveraging collaborations. And that was huge for my business. That's when I started hitting my income goals. I had my first 4-figure sales day. I started doing all these things that I had never done in my business. And it was because I figured out what works for me in my current season of life. That's going to allow me to show up in my business, but still be the mom that I want to be and not feel stressed, not feel overwhelmed, not be burnt out. And really looking at like, what is actually going to work for my business? What are those things that are actually going to move the needle forward in my business? And so that's how I started unknowingly supporting my clients. Like, those were the things I would ask them, like, okay, what does this look like for you realistically? What are some things that you have control of? What does your time actually look like? And are there some things that we can let go of to give you more time to focus on those things that are actually going to move the needle forward in your business? So doing that it really helped me. And again, like I said, I really fell in love with coaching. But again, even though I had started providing that coaching with some of my the clients who were in my Podcasting for Your Business Accelerator, I still had not fully taken on that title coach. I was still being hesitant. And honestly, it was imposter syndrome. Like I kept questioning, like, okay, is this really going to work if I start helping other people? And so I really had to work on my mindset and really, kind of get out of that. And so I did. So what really helped me like fully step into this coaching role and own it was my amazing client, Jessica. I'm going to shout her out. She is the host of the Viva la Mommy podcast. She is so amazing. So she had been listening to my podcast for some time. She had joined my email list and she started following me on Instagram. So I think like our conversation started in that she had shared a story, like an Instagram story, and it was like something about toddler mom life. And so like I replied, I was like, yeah, I totally get it. Like I'm right there with you. And so we were chatting back and forth about it. And she's so cute. So she was like, well, now that I have your attention. And so she proceeded to like tell me like she has her podcast. And she's like, I know that how you typically support your clients is really using their podcast to generate leads for their businesses. But she's like, I wanted to know if you would be willing to support me with actually building out an offer for this community I have built through my podcast. She's like, I know you don't do this, but can you help me do it? And I love that she asked. And I think that's like, it just shows so amazing, like how she is. Like, she knew she had a need and she knew she wanted to work with me. And so she's like, let me just ask her. And so that is what was like really got me going with building out Life in Seasons coaching. She is the first client to have gone through this with me. I have another client I'm currently working with as well. But I've just seen her grown so much in these past few months that we've worked together, even with like taking that pressure off of herself, like trying to do all of the things and really figuring out, okay, how can I build this out in a way that fits my current season of life? And like she's like gained so much clarity. And like the offer she's going to be launching this year, it is so amazing. She's validated that offer. And I can't wait to see like just how it's just going to blow up for her. Because she's done a really great job of building her community. Like she has an amazing community. Like I'm just so proud of her. But she's literally like the one that really like kind of like pushed me to like go ahead and like fully walk in this and launch this coaching offer, like making it official. And it's just been amazing to work with her and another client I'm currently working with, because it's like really just supporting them with building a business that fits their current season of life and doing it in a way where they're not sacrificing themselves. Because as moms, it is in our nature to give, to do, to think about others before we consider ourselves. And one thing I support my clients with is like, okay, what do you need? What's going to fill your cup to ensure that you are still able to show up as the mama, as the wife, as the CEO that you desire to be? Because you can't do that from a place of emptiness. You can't do that if you're burnt out. Like it's just not going to happen. And so we've been able to do that. It's just been, like I said, it's been so amazing and such a wonderful thing. So just to talk a little bit more about this offer. So this offer is for the mama who is like feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed, and just like not quite sure how to make this work. And how to do it in a way where she's not stretching herself thin and running herself into the ground, or like feeling that mom guilt or feeling like she's not doing enough for her clients and whatnot. Because I see that happen a lot. We tend to, think we need to do all of these things to keep our clients when in reality, like our clients just want what we said we were going to do for them. So it's just really like shifting that mindset and really setting your business up in a way so that you have that flexibility, you have that time freedom to do the things that you desire to do. So if you want to have like make it so mornings are your park days with your kids, like every morning you take your kids to the park and you guys go and you have fun at the park. They're on the swings and different things like that. You're able to do that without worrying that your business is going to fall apart, or maybe you want to like take your kids to a dance class or tumbling class or something, and you want to be able to do that at a certain time, do it before a nap time or whatever. You're able to do that without worrying that your clients are being neglected. And that's what I desire for my clients. That's what I help them do. And that's what they want too, right? They want to be able to build these successful, profitable businesses, but do it in a way that doesn't mean that they have to pour everything into this business and not be the moms that they desire to be. Not be able to, plan a family fun day where they go to Disneyland, go to the museum for the day, and, oh gosh, like their businesses are falling apart. Their clients are angry. Like, no, they can do that because their clients are well taken care of, because they have those systems in place. They've built their business in a way to allow them to do those things. And so that's where, life in seasons comes in. Life in seasons coaching, it's like really taking in consideration, where are you at currently in your life and business? Thinking about everything you have going on. And then based on that, okay, let's look at what we can change, what we need to do so that way this business fits your life, fits what you currently have going on, fits within the time that you currently have available to dedicate to that business. And it may mean that we have to look at changing some things, simplifying some things, really looking at your time management and your productivity to ensure that the time you actually have available to dedicate to that business is being put towards that business. And then kind of like touch back on like how I was saying that like a big part of this coaching offer is making sure that mama is doing good, that her cup is full. And I really want to touch on that because I've been there, where I'm just like pouring into the business, pouring into the kids, pouring into my husband, and there's nothing left for me. I went through this period where like before I became a mom, I used to love reading. Like I would be like speed reader, like finish a series in a week, like that. That's how I used to be. And then I became a mom, and it was more so when I became a mom of two, I just stopped reading. I had nothing left towards reading. And so 2023, I changed that. I'm like, I'm going to get back to the things that I love and enjoy. And I think I wrapped up 2023 reading almost 20 books or something like that. It was a significant number. And that was my way of being able to pour back into myself. And so I'm really big on ensuring that the mamas I support are not pouring from an empty or even a half full cup, helping them with prioritizing self-care and really figuring out what does that realistically look like for you. So that's kind of where the life coaching comes in, because it's life and business coaching. And the reason why is like I've already said this is like we cannot be the mamas and the CEOs we desire to be if we have nothing left to give. And if we're not taking care of ourselves. So prioritizing moving our bodies. I've gotten back to exercising and really, cooking at home. I deleted DoorDash, that app, from my phone because we ain't DoorDashing over here no more. And like taking the time to meal prep and everything, that is part of my self-care. That is taking care of me and my body. And so just like as we wrap this up, there are 5 core areas that I focus on in life and seasons coaching. And this is something that I have found to be of the most help with my clients. And these are things that I focus on in my business. So the first thing is visibility and impact off social media. That was a lesson that I learned in 2023. Now, I have nothing against social media. I know I have like a lot of episodes talking about like why you shouldn't be focusing on Instagram and different things like that. But I think that the biggest issue is that often when we start our businesses, we are told to pick a social media platform to start marketing our businesses. And yes, social media, free marketing, all of that. But the thing is that Instagram ain't Instagramming like it used to. The algorithm keeps changing, and I know that social media managers and social media strategists tell you don't focus on the algorithm, da 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 da. But the thing is that when you have limited time, when you do not have the capacity to churn out content at the frequency that is required to actually yield results from Instagram, you have to find something that works for you. And so I have found that creating your visibility strategy outside of social media, that works, whether that's through podcasting, podcast guesting, doing collaborations such as bundles, speaking at summits and other virtual events, creating a YouTube channel, blogging. Those things have a greater impact than trying to keep up with the content beast that is Instagram, right? And the beautiful thing about, especially like those that are like the long form content, and we'll be talking about long form content here. I'm dropping an episode on Thursday and then next week too. But anyways, long form content has a longer shelf life, right? So podcast episodes that I put out weeks, months, even like last year, they're still being downloaded. They're still being listened to. They're still generating new leads. And it's like, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Like, it's something you create this piece of content and people are still going to find you because it's searchable content. So that visibility and impact off of social media is huge. And like when it comes to things such as like the bundles and the virtual summits and events, bundles, growing your email list. So you know that those people who get on your email list, they are going to get your emails each week. They're going to hear from you each week. You know that they're going to see your email. With, social media, it's no guarantee that people are actually seeing your content, especially, again, with the changes. Or if you're not posting consistently enough so that Instagram is pushing out your content to those ideal clients. So that's the visibility and impact off of social media. The other area that we focus on is creating offers that fit your current season of life. So I've touched on this in a previous episode. Y'all, I was so bad. I did not write the episode numbers down, but I am going to link it in the show notes if you want to take a listen to the episode. I think it's literally called Creating Offers That Fit Your Current Season of Life. But with that, really looking at, okay, this offer, is this something I can realistically commit to based on my current season of life? Is this something that's going to make sense for where I'm at in business, for where I'm at life-wise? So for instance, I've mentioned this on a podcast before, but one thing I now do is instead of only offering, if people want to hop on a sales call, instead of only offering it via Zoom, I have made it so that, okay, if you really want to chat this out and you need more than 15 minutes of my time, then let's, chat it out in Voxer. Because Voxer, I can Voxer you all day long with my kids. It's not a problem. Zoom is a little bit more challenging because my kids, they flip out when they see me hop on the computer, or they want to come and join the call, which is very cute and sweet. But also my kids love to talk and they will talk over me, or they may have a random meltdown, different things like that. And so I want to be able to have my focus on you. And so Voxer gives me that freedom, that flexibility. So that's something I made a change because, like I said, showing up on Zoom for more than like 10, 15 minutes at a time, it's a lot for me. My kids are really young. And so they are going to do what toddlers do. And I love it because toddlers be toddling. But I had to make that change. And so offering that as an option has been really great because I've been able to, for those who, have a few more questions regarding the offer that they are considering signing up for, I've been able to, answer those questions and we've been able to get to know each other better via Voxer. Okay, so the next thing is leveraging systems, processes, and automations to simplify your business. This is huge. Without those systems and processes and automations in place, you're going to be all over the place in your business. And so really like streamlining those things and having things work for you without you having to actually show up, that's needed as a mama. That really supports with that time freedom and that flexibility that you need. And so that is what I support my clients with. Okay, let's look at what your systems are. Okay, what program is going to work best for you? What CRM is going to work best for you? And really figuring that out to simplify all that back end stuff. The next thing is building deeper connections with your community. And this is a big one because sometimes we can get so focused on, I need new leads, but not really focusing on connecting with our current community. And so I have some ways of really supporting my clients with that and really building those deeper connections and nurturing their community and getting to know their community better. But also too, this is where it comes in with like validating their offers, making sure that they are using the language that the people in their community are using to describe what their wants, their needs, and their desires are, what their pain points are. And so I support my clients with figuring out. So back to my client, Jessica, we were able to validate her offer, but also really allow her to engage with her community by, she hosted a giveaway via her podcast. She put together this amazing Christmas basket connecting or partnering with a few other business owners that she knows and was able to, in a sense, raffle it off, but the people in her community, they had to complete a survey in order to be entered into the raffle. And she was able to literally validate her offer, get the language that they are using to describe their specific want or need or desire. And now we're building out her offer. Amazing, right? And then the last area that we focus on is mindset. And this is huge in that I have found with us mamas, when we transition from employee to CEO, sometimes, I'm not going to say sometimes, that is a hard transition. Shifting your mindset in how you operate in your business, how you run your business, because sometimes we take some of those employee ways and we bring it into our business. And so we work on that. We also really work on the mindset piece of flexibility and going with the flow, because you have to do that when you are running a business with little ones at home. You can plan out your day, but your kids, they have their own plans and they're going to do what they have planned. So really learning like how to go with the flow, adapt and adjust as needed. And so that's a really it's a mindset thing right there, because it's hard, especially like you had planned like, okay, I'm gonna work on this in my business right now. And then your baby doesn't go down for their nap at their scheduled time. So we really work through those mindset things. So that is it. This episode is pretty lengthy and I'm not sorry for that. Like, I wanted to share my heart with you guys, and really talk a little bit more just about the changes in my business and to really talk about Life in Seasons coaching. It is a one-on-one coaching program. And so before I wrap it up though, I did want to say like another change I'm making just in my business in general is how I am showing up. You guys are going to see me way less on social media. At the time of this recording, I haven't updated my 9 grid. It will be updated at some point. It may be updated by the time this episode drops, but I don't know because it's not a priority for me right now. But I'm really focusing on building a sustainable business without relying on social media. And it's something that I've already been transitioning to, but I'm going to fully walk in it this year. And so I'm doing way more podcast guesting. I'm still going to be doing my collaborations through bundles. But like I said, I'm upping my solo episodes on the podcast. So you guys are going to be hearing from me twice a week. I'm starting back blogging. So I'm actually changing how I do my show notes. I am fleshing them out a little bit more to be more SEO friendly, more of like along the lines of a blog post. But I'm also going to be writing actual blogs twice a month and then leveraging that with Pinterest. I'm still going to be doing like sending out my emails twice a week, but they'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. And yeah, I really have decided to make this change because I'm over Instagram. Like I have these periods where I'm inspired and want to post. And so that's kind of what I'm going with. Like if I feel like posting in my stories, I'm going to post. If not, it is what it is. But my DMs will always be open. You guys are always welcome to DM me. But yeah, I'm not focusing on it. It's like going to be that kind of afterthought thing. But I'm really excited, especially with just like focusing more on leveraging my podcast. This here is honestly the main hub for my lead generation, nurturing you guys and converting. And I saw most of my business growth, my leads and everything in 2023, it came from the podcast. And so I'm leaning into this more. And so I'm super excited, especially this is my favorite way to create content. Right now I am batch recording episodes. Like I'm supposed to be doing 2 weeks worth, but I may knock out the whole month. Who knows? Because I love podcasting. This is my favorite thing to do. But anyways, I just wanted to share that little tidbit. But if you are interested in applying for one-on-one coaching with me, Life in Seasons coaching, you can. Applications are open. And I want you to know that we really focus on building your dream business without stress or overwhelm. And you owning the fact that you can do that and have your babies at home with you. And so I'm going to show you exactly how. I am going to work with you to build a business that fits your current season of life. So even when it comes to how you create content, I am not forcing podcasting on you if podcasting is not your thing, because podcasting is not for everyone. Yes, you're hearing that from me, the queen of podcasting. Podcasting is not for everyone, and that's okay because there are other options and we are going to figure out what that is for you. So if you are looking to work one-on-one with me, head on over to mamaturnedmompreneur.com/coaching to learn more and apply today. All right, Mama, I will catch you in the next episode. Well, Mama, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a review? Hitting that follow button and sharing your thoughts about the podcast are the best ways to ensure that other mamas like you find this show. Your review also lets me know if you're enjoying this podcast, so make sure to share your thoughts before you go. All right, Mama, I'll catch you in the next episode.